Jupiter at night, in front of the internet. Jupiter at night, presented live.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Jupiter at Night. My name is Chris.
I'm Alan.
Hey there, Alan.
Hey, Chris.
Welcome to a very cloudy episode of Jupiter at Night.
Wait, what are you getting at? I smell a pun.
Right. Well, in the last 24 hours, it was weird. It was like a late night Sunday announcement or something like that.
What were you doing?
Or Monday. Amazon announced that they're launching two different products that kind of complement each other. Part one is something called Cloud Drive. So imagine that. You know, hard drives in the cloud kind of a thing. And it's meant to sort of just store your basics, documents, photos, videos, and music. Then they've sandwiched on top of that, in a very nice way, something called Cloud Player, which lets you stream all of like the music and audio from that cloud drive. And you get it for free for up to 5 gigs.
See, already right now, it'd be like, that would be awesome if it also did videos that you had.
I think I agree. In fact, that's one of the notes in the show notes that I have here is it needs to do video too.
Because this day and age, music just ain't enough.
Yeah. And really, it's a lot of people are calling this an iTunes competitor. Well, iTunes has a pretty healthy music videos market. I don't buy them, but I know that a lot of people do, and I think they need something like this too. And if you could buy a video on Amazon site and have it automatically add to this cloud player. Also, though, I think where you're going with this is right, because notice they didn't call it Cloud Music Player. They just called it Cloud Player. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's leaving room for them to grow into it, which makes sense. Yeah. But right now, I think it's going to be hard to dethrone iTunes. I mean,
right.
They already have so much. I mean, the only thing they have going is, like you said, that this links up to anything. You're not limited to just your kind of iTunes library.
They provide an Adobe Air application that lets you scan your hard drive for music and then upload it to the cloud disk. So you can just bring what you've got. The other thing they do is, if you're an Amazon MP3 store buyer, which I happen to be because it's, you know, I think they're like 256 kilobit bitrate MP3s, no DRM. Real nice, you know, terms and all that kind of stuff. Usually pretty good price. So I've been buying from Amazon's MP3 store for a long time.
So now all this is just kind of
linked right up, dude. When you buy, there's an option in there to send a copy to the cloud storage and download it, or only download it, or only send to cloud storage. And they tie in the same thing with their Android application. On the Android app, they've just added the functionality to the MP3 app that almost everyone has on their Android phone. And now you can buy music on the device, and instead of having it download to your phone, you could have it just add to the cloud storage from your phone. But anytime you're in here playing your music from your cloud storage drive, and it's a pretty good interface to play your music.
Oh yeah, it seems pretty clean.
Any song you pick, there's always a download button, and you can download it right from the cloud storage directly to your SD card.
Now, what would be the benefit of that if, like, oh, I'm not going to be in service in a little bit?
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you exactly. So the whole idea with that app is you stream from the cloud storage. And so I tried it out today. And I tried it out on Highway 9, and I have pretty spotty coverage. And what they tell you is that they stream the direct file itself. If you have a 256 kilobit MP3 file in there,
that's what they're streaming.
That's what they're streaming. And so the second I lost reception, gone. Whereas, like, you know, Pandora, you can kind of ride it out. Pandora kind of does like
it kind of does a buffer.
Yeah. And the other thing is at the end of a track, you got to wait for it to buffer the next track. It doesn't like preload the next one, kind of like Pandora does. Pandora is not always
how
great
much is
about
that delay? Yeah, no, Pandora, it happens. There's, you know,
if you're on Wi-Fi, it's probably like a 1/1000, 2/1000, 3. If you're on like almost I was on 1 bar of signal, it's like a 10-second delay.
That's just too much.
It is a long delay, but that's why maybe if you were going to plan ahead, you'd be on Wi-Fi, you'd hit the download.
Yeah.
Here's what they're doing that's kind of neat. Now, I'm not convinced. You don't sound like you're too convinced. I'm not completely convinced.
Because there is Pandora, the free service, you know, and yeah, you got to listen to ads.
But this is not just music, though. You get the whole file storage, too.
Last.fm, yeah, but I already pay for Dropbox.
Yeah, well, and Dropbox is the whole sync thing.
Exactly.
This I would look at as more of, well, it's a sticky situation, actually. I would say that maybe if you weren't big into the sync aspect of Dropbox, maybe you just wanted something to back up to, cloud storage might make you get.
Which Justin actually hates the sync. He doesn't download the. Right. He doesn't download it just for that very reason.
And check this out: they're doing a deal until the end of the year where if you buy any MP3 album, you get like this one. We have this Disorganized Fun from Ronald Jenkins. He's the guy that made the theme music for Stoked, our Star Trek Online show.
Very nice.
Yeah, and if you buy this $7.99 MP, which is all DRM free music, you get 20 gigs free. So now Justin buys one album and he gets 25 gigs of free storage. He could actually use that for some backup.
Right.
But here's where.
But for how long? Like a year?
I think it's. I don't know. I don't know if that is free. It says I have a link in the show notes which explains the terms of it. But here's why I wouldn't do it anyways. So the reason why I didn't go down that path of is it free for longer than that is I just wouldn't. I don't recommend it. What I don't like is Amazon's terms of use policies specifically say that they have the complete right to access your files. They primarily outline it for maybe investigating compliance with the terms of agreement, so maybe copyright material, I don't know, tech support issues, or to protect service and users from fraud or security threats, or to comply with services applicable to the law.
Yeah, with that right there, I will never use it.
Yeah, and here's where Dropbox is definitely a winner. I also put a link. Oh, that's not it. I put a link to Dropbox's terms of service in our show notes. And Dropbox very clearly states, you own your data. We have no right to it. But that also means we have no control as to what you put in it.
Yeah, so
that's how it should be.
That's how it should be, because I don't want... Say I come up with some stupid-ass idea that I think's great, and I put it in there, and then Amazon's like, hey, that's not that bad, and they steal it.
Well, that's always... I mean, that's
never going to happen in a million years.
Thing with Hotmail and Gmail and Google Docs.
But I just don't like that thought.
I don't like the thought when it's media focused, and it feels like that is a loophole to bust people for pirating.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
And I don't like that. I don't like the idea that maybe there's like some sort of backdoor access that they've sort of built in just to help the man out of the box.
Yeah.
So I have issues with that. But that said, if you're comfortable with what you're storing, that's not really a factor.
Yeah, but even there's a lot of stuff where I'll download it and then like it, so I'll go and buy it, but then I'm not going to re-rip the CD that I already downloaded, so there it looks like it's just a downloaded CD.
Well, do you want me to show you what the cloud drive looks like? Because this is part of my issue with it too. Is there's no local software like something like SugarSync has or Dropbox. It's only web based, and this is it right here. And you get a file system that you can browse. See, I've uploaded a video. And I put a video on here to see if maybe I could then watch it in the Android player, but no, only music. But if I click on it, it immediately starts downloading the video, and it's super fast speeds. I'm getting it at almost 2 megabytes a second. So they're using S3 as their back end.
That's pretty good.
So here's I can put pictures in here. Here's my music, and I can access it like a file system. So if I only wanted to use this as like a place to archive important maybe pictures or documents as a backup, you throw it up there.
As long as you're fine with Amazon looking through your junk.
Right. And then later on, if you start buying music on Amazon, if you want to buy I think they have a fair music system set up, you can just check the box that says send a copy to my cloud storage. And over time, you'll just build up a cloud player library that you can just begin to use on different devices.
Yeah,
you know what's interesting?
That's cool.
They don't have an iOS device app yet. Only Android and only in the web. Doesn't even work in the web browser on like the iPad. Amazon hasn't said anything, which likely means they have an app that's pending approval because they're under an NDA at that point.
And then doesn't that make iTunes a little nervous? Maybe like, hey, no, you don't get to use your service on ours.
Oh man, the chat room is totally laughing at my music selection. I have to be honest. I just have a lot of music. And I just uploaded a lot of it just to test it out. I guess, I was up when this was announced, and I jumped on it because I wanted to try it out.
Of course.
And then when all of the regular bloggers got up in the morning, I guess the service was just slammed and people are having a hard time uploading their music. So I was driving around this morning listening to my music, no problem. It's pretty cool. To that end, just to wrap up the Android end of this, I think the devs of this app need to spend a week using Pandora, and maybe it's a legality thing because you're streaming your own music that you can literally only stream it when you're listening to it and they can't pre-buffer it for you. It could be something as stupid as that. But if it's not that, I'd really like to see them build in some caching.
And the other thing I want to know is, can you just like shuffle through all your artists like just random?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's got all the standard music.
Okay,
controls,
okay.
and you can make playlists and stuff like that. And you know,
it seems like a good idea, like really for you, because you seem to buy a lot of the Amazon MP3s. But for me, who doesn't,
right,
it just does not seem
right.
anything worth.
I would say it's good for you if you weren't already a heavy Pandora user.
And Last FM, just depending on what I'm doing.
You really had a music library that was really yours, and you had playlists that you adored, because this will import playlists too from iTunes and Windows Media Player.
I've never been a fan of playlists.
I know, but like my wife Angela, she's got playlists galore, man. She just rocks that iTunes library.
Yeah,
she's got like album art on everything and everything.
Oh
like
no,
that.
I do that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she just like obsesses over the whole library.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Just not playlists.
I'm more of a Pandora guy myself. But if you are more of a if you like your library, why not get 20-ish gigs of music up there and just get it when you do need it? That's what I would say. Just if you don't really need the storage aspect of it, and you don't really need to buy anything to get that advantage for free.
Yeah, no, I mean,
except for
it is cool that they're offering that for free.
Yeah. I mean, you get five gigs for free, and then you got to buy an album to.
But one album, you know.
Dude, I put a link to that album in our show notes. That's a good album. That's one I recommend. I likes that one. Anyways, I think the chat room's a little lukewarm on this one. A lot of them are saying that it just doesn't sound like something that's in their ballpark. I bet as Amazon builds this out, you're gonna have in 2 weeks or something like that. In maybe it's only been a week. Amazon has dropped an awesome app store on Android, and they've dropped right now Android exclusive music streaming application. And 2 weeks ago they gave video streaming to free to all Prime users, all Prime customers. You take me, who's now got free video streaming, uses their music service, and then they release like some sort of Android tablet. They have got, essentially, they've recreated Apple's ecosystem.
But it's already been done.
But only on iOS. People want an Android alternative to the complete media solution. Because like when you buy your phone, yeah, you can get apps from the marketplace, but you're not getting music and you're not getting videos. What if you're in the airport and you got Wi-Fi on and you want to just watch an episode of The Office?
Then good freaking luck, because the airport's Wi-Fi is sucky.
But you know what I'm saying?
I've never been to one Wi-Fi where it's been good.
There are people out there that want to have an access to a media library.
But that's not even videos. If you want to watch videos, then you watch your Netflix instant queue.
It's gonna be. You wait and watch. It's gonna be.
You fire up your iTunes
and actually,
video library.
Their music,
and it's already downloaded.
Their music streaming service does work on Flash on the Android. It's Flash, so it's balls, but it works. Just saying. I think they're gonna. I think they're building the ecosystem first, and they're gonna put value in that ecosystem, and they're gonna get money in there. They're gonna get people using it, and then they're gonna be like, boom, here's the device to tie it all together.
All right. So remember when people were like, we want an alternative to the iPod, and then Microsoft's like, here's the Zune.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people you know have a Zune?
They just officially killed off the Zune hardware. Yeah. No, you're right.
And remember how much we were making fun. Again, this is kind of Microsoft bashing, which I like Microsoft, so don't get me wrong. But remember when they all opened up the Microsoft store and we're like, hey, you know how Apple did that like 10 years ago? Dork.
Here's the thing. That's Microsoft.
Yeah, and so now this is just Amazon doing the same thing.
Amazon has more of a hip reputation. They've got a ton of fans in the Kindle. They've got millions of customers with credit cards on file. They've shown that they can ship Kindles like a son of a gun.
Right, but their Kindles can't use this.
Why couldn't this be the next? Why couldn't Kindle 3.0 be an Android tablet?
Because there's already. Yeah, I guess. I think it'll be a good runner-up.
You can't discount it just because Microsoft failed to pull it off.
No, but I'm just using that. I'm not.
They fail to pull a lot of stuff off.
Like I said, I like Microsoft. Don't get me wrong.
But I like somebody who can perform, and right now they are not performing in that area. And doesn't mean nobody else can except for Apple. It just means they didn't.
I just think they have such a stranglehold. It's like coming up with a new MMO that's going to beat World of Warcraft.
Yep.
They've already kind of got their foot in the door. Their household name.
Yeah, you're right.
So to try to break above
they've become like the Walkman.
Even match that.
They've become the Walkman.
Yeah, they're the Sony Walkman of today.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, there's other things and you can get them, but it's like, well, that's.
You know what though? That's fine. Whatever. The market will work that out. What is important is a strong competitor to that.
Hey, competition always breeds blah blah
and
blah.
And this is some serious.
This seems more like
in my opinion. Well, But they're innovating in some ways. Like iTunes, when you buy music, you only can download it once. If you lose that music, you got to go cry to Apple and ask them to resubmit it to you.
Oh, that's just
download it.
dumb.
I mean, there's a lot of limitations. There's no way to stream your iTunes library built into iTunes. There's like hack ways to do it and things like that. But this is a way that everything you buy you can immediately stream. That's where they're offering something. They don't have the library and they don't have all of the other bits like the awesome device to go with it that people seem to love. But for some of us, and there's a ton of Android users out there, this just became a very viable music ecosystem for us.
Yeah.
And like in one day. We just went from really something that kind of works to something that the iOS users can't even do.
I wish them the best of luck.
Yeah, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see where it goes. All right, everyone. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And maybe you have no interest at all. Maybe you can think of something clever for cloud storage. For me, what would really make cloud storage work is if you could share public links from the files in there. Because then I could send people like demo files or something out of there and they use S3 as their backend. It'd be super awesome. That's what I'd like to see.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so what would you like to see in cloud storage? Let us know in the comments or send an email to night@jupiterbroadcasting.com. Now, tomorrow night, MarsBase is joining us for another epic science episode. So you want to tune in for that. And then later on in the week, Thursday, I have a very special episode planned for the weekend.
Naughty?
Well,
Little bump.
I'll give you a hint. It has to do with a very iconic date coming up. I'll leave it at that. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to tonight's episode of Jupiter at Night, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow night.